Assalamualaikum and very good evening to all audience. Today's discussion topic is about the roles of Oshe legal requirement in business management and occupational safety and health act in Malaysia and its silence features. Before we go through this topic, I want to introduce our panel for today. Me, Muhammad Hanan, Second, Miss Lota, third, Miss Syazwani, fourth, Miss FATIN. First and foremost, what is the occupational safety and health OSHA about? Can someone tell me?
May I?
Yes, of course, Milota.
Okay, thank you. So the Occupational Safety and Health Act, the short form is OSHA, is about to ensure safety and healthful working conditions for workers and also for any person at the workplace by setting and enforcing specific standards and by providing training, outreach, education, and assistance in this topic. So one main purpose of OSHA is to protect the workers from all risk and recognized hazards at the workplace.
Okay, Miss Lota, good explanation. How about you, Miss Syazwani? What do you know about OSHA in Malaysia?
Thank you, moderator. The Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 or Act 514 provided the legislative framework for the safety, health and welfare among all nation workforce. The principle is to prevent and protect the workers against hazards and its risks in connection with their activities at work. It requires all companies to establish and document like first, safety and health policy. Second is duties of the employer, employees, and the safety and health officers. Third is the safety and health committee of companies. And the last is occupational safety and health inspection and officers are included. For me, under the OSHA law, employees are responsible for providing a safe and helpful workplace for their workers. So, thank you.
Thank you, Miss Syazwani. Good and reach the point. We continue the main purpose of the OSHA. Can Miss Fatin explain to us the purpose or objective in OSHA?
Sure, can moderator. The purpose of Act 514 are first, to secure the safety, health, and welfare of persons at work against hazard and risk arising out of the activities of persons at work. Second, to protect persons at a place of work other than persons at work against risks arising out of the activities of persons at work. Second, to promote an occupational environment for persons at work which is adapted to their physiological and psychological needs. And lastly, to provide the means whereby the associated occupational safety and health legislation may be progressively replaced by a system of regulation and approved industry codes of practice operating in combination with the provisions of this act designed to maintain or improve the standard of safety and health. For me, to gain the OSHA standard, both employer and employees have to know their rules to follow. For example, employees have to wear or to use the personal protective equipment that employers have to provide for. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fatin. Very good explanation. But how if the employees are not follow the rules of the company, like they don't want to follow the safety and misbehave at the workplace? Ms. Lota?
Yeah. So, of course, there's also the possibility that an accident is the employee's fault. And of course, it is also important to protect the company. So in the end, I think it is very good to hold both parties responsible because it is not the employer's fault if an employees misbehave. And due to OSHA, employees are required to prevent an accident and therefore don't act unsafe. So if they still do so, it's their responsibility. But of course, it can also be the employer's fault if there are, for example, unsafe conditions at the workplace, as Ms. Fatin mentioned before. And then it is important to protect the worker.
So what do you mean? So, Miss Wani, what's your opinion? Do you agree with Miss Lota?
Yeah, I agree with Ms. Lota. And I think it's easy to understand from a moral perspective. And the Occupational Safety and Health Act, there is also the legal framework given. The importance of actions that establish ways to prevent accidents at work is to preserve the health and physical integrity of employees, as well as to protect the company from possible penalties for possible accidents. In this way, the prevention of accident at work is composed of a set of actions whose purpose is to prevent the occurrence within the work environment of accidents and incidents. For this, these actions for the prevention of work accidents fundamentally three main elements: the human, the environment, and the machine. There are several actions to prevent accidents at work that must be followed to promote a safer and healthier work environment, such as application of administrative norms, environmental norms, educational norms, occupational hygiene norms, and organizational norms. However, it is important to note the following: follow all safety rules when performing the most dangerous activities. Organize the workplace to know what risk and care you should have in your activities, and what forms of protection to reduce this risk. Participate in action, of course, of accident prevention measures and devices that are provided to it, namely the correct use of individual protective equipment. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Wani. Do you want to add any information, Miss Fatin?
Oh, yes, moderator. Thank you for give an I think this is a very important point because there are legal base. Both parties can feel safe because as long they do their duty regarding the OSH Act, nothing can happen to them on a legal base. Both can protected by law. And otherwise, it could be very expensive if the accident was your own fault. But with OSHA and an external assessor, you can prove that it was the company fault. That's all.
Thank you, Miss Fatin. Okay, now Miss Lota, can you give me what is the responsibility of workers in safety and health?
Sure. So workers also have a duty to take care of their own health and safety, and also of that of others who may be affected by their own actions or their own actions at work. So workers must cooperate with employers and co-workers to help everyone meet their legal requirements. So as a worker, you have the responsibility to read the workplace safety and health poster at the job site, to comply with all applicable OSHA and main safety standards. Of course, you have to follow all the lawful employer safety and health rules and regulations, and you should wear or use the required protective equipment while working. And furthermore, the workers should report hazardous conditions to the employer so he can take action. And he should also report any job-related injury or illness to the employer and seek treatment promptly.
Thank you, Miss Lota. Miss Wani, can you give me what the responsibility of management to its employees?
Sure, can. The responsibilities of management to its employee is first, support and guide employees. Next, develop a plan of action to address and deal with any potential workplace hazard, including workplace violence. Furthermore, ensure employees are trained in proper procedures. Moreover, provide a secure environment. Last but not least is assure a follow-up on the recommendation put in place and communicate with staff, particularly those impacted by a particular incident. So I think that's all the 5 example responsibilities of management to its employees that I can include in this topic.
Thank you, Ms. Wani. Okay, Ms. Fatin, can you give me what are actually the key point of the act?
While it's a fairly hefty piece of legislation, the key point can be this list down. Number 1, provide a safe place of work. This covers the physical workplace to ensure that premises are up to standard. It includes consideration like safety, fire safety, cleanliness, waste management, and the handling of harmful substances. Number 2, provide safe equipment. Any equipment that's used at work, including computer and electronic device, need to be maintained to ensure it's safe to use. Number 3, ensure staff are properly trained. In order to foster a safe workplace, it's important to surround yourself with responsible and competent staff. Number 4, carry out a risk assessment. The key thing here is risk. If something is defined as a very low risk factor and will incur significant cost to mitigate, it might not need to be actioned. Number 5, provide proper facilities. This covers the basic like toilet, clean drinking water, heating, and air conditioning. And lastly, appoint a competent person to oversee health and safety. This would be a dedicated person who would be responsible for ensuring that all health and safety duties are being carried out and adhered to by employees. I think that's all for my point, Mr. Hanan.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fatin. There's a lot of things we are discussed for today. Thank you for all the panels for your cooperation. Last but not least, to end this discussion, is there anything that you want to advise?
May I?
Yes, of course, Ms. Wani.
Okay. For my conclusion, occupational safety and health should not be sidelined as a service delivery issue. Health worker health and well-being is an important aspect of worker motivation and job satisfaction, which influence productivity as well as retention. Health worker safety also affect the quality of care. Caring for the caregiver should be a priority area of concern for the health system performance. What is good for employee health is good for patient health. So that's my conclusion. We are back to moderator, Mr. Hanan.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wani. For Ms. Lota, what you can conclude for this topic?
Oh, sorry, your mic is not on.
Sorry. I wanted to say that first of all, I agree. And in my conclusion, I am very glad that we have the Occupational Safety and Health Act, because I think it has really improved the safety and health management in Malaysia. And it doesn't matter whether you're on the employer's or on the employee's side, because both parties are protected by these regulations. And I think this is very great.
Thank you, Ms. Lota. How about Ms. Fatin? What you can conclude for this topic?
Okay, in conclusion, Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 is the good act implemented in Malaysia, because this act can be as a guideline to the employers and also employees for securing the safety, health, and welfare of themselves at work. Besides that, this act also protecting employers and also employees against risk to safety and health in connection with the activities of person at work. So everything that connect with the safety and health at the workplace, the employers and employees can refer to this act to the responsibilities that they should take at their workplace. The procedure of enforcement and investigation and so forth. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Fatin. For me, as a conclusion, workplace violence is the one of the main cause of death and injuries at work. More steps should be taken to make sure that the working environment are safe. So, OSH is focused on protecting the employee in the workplace from accidents, injuries, and approaches to a harmful sustain. OSH also promote the workplace safety and health at the national level. So we must have initiative to apply at the workplace because OSH is the key of element that achieve sustain well-being at the workplace in good business and profitable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.